Hello guys, welcome to a vlog. It's Monday at 4 o'clock. I don't know how it's gotten to 4 o'clock, but here we are. I'm actually going to mostly do this vlog over the next 2 days to get this live for Wednesday. And yeah, I'm confident I can do it. I've got lots of stuff to talk about and share with you, so it should be quite a good one. We're going to talk about books. I said in the last vlog that I was going to do separate book videos, and then loads of you commented like, no, don't do that. So I'm not going to do that because you don't want that. So we're going to talk about books that I've been reading. I actually really have barely read in the past week, having one of those weeks where I can't sit and focus on a book at all. But I've still got loads to talk about and loads that I have ordered and that are here that I still need to read. So still lots to chat about on that front. And I also went to Weekday today. I wanted a new pair of jeans, like a longer pair of black jeans, quite specifically. And you can't, the shops are open, but you can't try stuff on. And I just ended up buying so many pairs of jeans because I thought, well, we can't try things on. They're all the same style from Weekday, the row style, which I do have a pair in the blue, which I really like, but I've never really talked about them in depth in terms of the sizing. So I think I literally bought 6 pairs of jeans to try on with you guys. All different washes, not the blue because I've already got that. All different washes. Some of them are like leg 22, not 22, like 32 or like 30 in the same wash. Just to see how the different washes fit and just to try them all on. I'm obviously going to take nearly all of them back. I'm not keeping them all, but I just, because you can't try them on, I thought, well, I'm just going to get them. We can try them on at home together, and then it will also be informative for you all, and then I can take them back because the shop in Shoreditch is super close. So that's going to be the plan next in this video. In fact, I might make myself a cup of tea, and then we shall crack on with that bit right now and talk about books a bit later on. Let's get the denim section done. And other than that, I literally haven't got very much to update you guys on. I want to know how you all are. In every vlog I say, how are you all? And none of you ever answer me in the comments, which I'll forgive and forget, but I am asking because I want to hear how are you all? How are you finding like the shifts in lockdown? I know that in London it's been like, or England, well not all of England because Leicester's re-tightened up their lockdown, but it's been trending on Twitter that lockdown's over with like the pubs opening and things, which is so weird and so not true. Obviously we're all still trying to be sensible, but London feels weird right now. Weirdly normal after so long of it not having been so. So yeah. What else? Yeah, I want to know how you all are. To answer that question myself, I've had a really rough week the past week, which is also why I've not vlogged. Just finding everything quite heavy at the moment, if I'm honest, and that's sort of the best way that I can describe it, and it's something I think lots of people will be feeling as well. Not sleeping. Oh, actually the past 2 nights I've slept through, so I'm feeling a lot better for that, but up until then, my witching hour is 4 AM, and if I wake up at 4ish, I just know I'm going to be lying awake for hours thinking about everything in ways that are not productive either. But thankfully I have just had, like I said, had a couple of good nights sleep, so I do feel a lot better for that. Yeah, that's it for this introduction. Let us try on some jeans after I've made my cup of tea. Right, this is what we're working with. I actually realised a mistake in what I said earlier. This is row without an E. This is the style I already have in a blue wash, which I'm trying here in this colour. These are all row with an E, and the difference in the description is that this is extra high waist, straight fit, extra high waist, no, just high waist, loose fit, straight leg. I mean, it'll be interesting to actually compare the difference when we're trying them on, despite just a difference in the spelling. So, like I said, I've got a couple. There was limited sizes, which is why. So I've got 2 sizes in this wash, just that we could actually compare 26-32, 26-30, some 25 waist, just a bit of different sizes. And so you can maybe even see from me touching it. One like this is a very cottony denim. Same with this, slightly so. The black one is a lot stiffer feeling. That one is a bit stiffer too. So I think there'll be a difference in trying them all on. Let's just crack. Right, these are the row without an E. Waist 25, leg 30. With Weekday, I tend to go for the smallest size I can fit in when they're brand new, because they do give quite a bit. As you can see, these are tight, like They are digging in quite a bit on the waist. I really like them though. I do wish they didn't have a 26 in these, otherwise I actually think I would go for that and just have them looser to begin with, and then even if they gave a bit more, let them sit on the hips. But I really like these. I've just got my Philip K slides just here. This is what I'm wanting them for, just some jeans that look great with slides. They're not particularly ticking the box of what I was after in terms of something a bit longer, and fabric wise they're so soft. They're just really cottony and soft. I really like them though. I think the colour's really nice, especially with a white t-shirt as opposed to a black one. So this is row without an E. Everything else is row with an E. Waist 25, leg 30. Right, these are row with an E. Waist 26, leg 30. From trying them on, bearing in mind this is a waist size bigger than the one I just had on, the only difference I can really see is that maybe row without an E is slightly skinnier in the leg. And again, the reason I go for the smallest size I can fit in is this fits really nice around the waist. It doesn't dig in at all. That is where it will give. And as you can see, there is a bit more fabric around the crotch. So obviously as that gives, for me, a waist 25 does tend to fit best long term, because then this gives nicely and you still have quite a nice fit through the crotch. I've got all these also trying on a leg 32, and I think that's going to be more the look I want, which is something a bit baggy overall. These are a tiny bit too short for what I actually want. So yep, this is a waist, I'll write this all on the screen because even I'm losing track of it. Waist 26, leg 30 in a row with an E. They're really lovely though. Right, this is more the style that I was after. Where have I put my slides? Oh, they're here. The jeans that I've had on all day. I love it when you can tell you've stepped out of a pair of clothing like that. Okay, yes, this is way more what I was after in terms of styling. So these are a waist 32. As you can see, so much longer. Still the same style, row with an E. Still a waist 26. For some reason they feel and look slightly bit tighter around the waist. And they're very high-waisted. But this is absolutely the length that I was after with something. I basically want to wear this with slides and like a tank top or a light knit or just a t-shirt, just something that feels really slouchy. These are perfect. I'm definitely going to keep these. And actually they for some reason feel a lot tighter on the waist than the other 26 that we just tried on. Still got the same issue here with the bagginess through the crotch, but because they're baggier through the leg, that's actually what I want them to look like. I want it to look quite loose and easy and effortless, as opposed to being too tight across here, and then when everything's tucked in you feel quite just tucked in. So yeah, definitely keeping these. Leg 32. I take back what I just said. These are the ones I'm going to keep. These are, again, the row with an E, leg 32, waist 26. They're tighter. They feel more similar tightness to the beige ones that I tried on, which were a waist 25. I think maybe it's just because the denim is quite a bit stiffer with it being darker. They maybe feel a tiny bit shorter than the... it's hard to tell unless I keep it very consistent. Possibly a tiny bit shorter, but really the perfect length actually for what I'm after. And they're like a slightly washed black. They're not pure black. We do have a pure black style to try on, but I'm after something that isn't pure black, and these are perfect. These are definitely, I prefer these over the sort of washed grey colour. So yeah, these are waist 26. What are they? Leg 32. And a waist 25 in this would definitely be too tight, 100%. Like, I think you can already see that I'm kind of, it's digging into my waist here, so I don't think I'd even be able to do up a waist 25. So this is perfect. Oh, I can't breathe. Putting what I just said to the test, these are a waist 25, leg 32, pure black, so the denim is a lot stiffer, and I honestly, like, I can just barely breathe in that. That's, I just wouldn't be able to sit down or anything. It's so uncomfortable. Oh, yeah, no. So, definitely the darker the denim, stick to a higher, maybe don't go to the lowest one like I just said. I think maybe that's working. Light denim, but the last pair we have trying on a white pair, so once again I'm about to put that to the test, what I just said, because these are, yeah, these are waist 25, leg 32, and the white pair we're about to try on is also waist 25, leg 32. So let's see the difference in the sizes, but I wouldn't be able to oh, if I bought these in this size, I'd never wear them because I'd always end up picking something that actually is comfortable, and these are not. Okay, I've got a tiny bit more room in these, but not as much, especially when it's a light denim. This pulling over here is not a good look. So I really want to get these jeans for the white denim testing basics I'm going to do. So when I return, I'm going to see if I can exchange these for a waist 26 instead of a 25, because this just isn't, even like I said, even though it will give, I feel like I've kind of gone back on what I said initially here of going for your smallest waist size, which I definitely do in the Voyage and the Seattle. I always get a waist 25 in those, but they're the ones that I have in blue denim, which is generally a lot more forgiving than white denim. And I mean, you can see all the pulling here. When you compare that to the beige ones I tried on initially, I think they look really flattering and really lovely. This definitely need to go for a waist 26, and then even once it's given a bit, I still think that will be a lovely, it will still look really nice and will look good for being a bit looser. These are definitely just way too tight, so when I head back to the shop, I'm going to hope they have these in a 26 that I can get these for testing basics. But the ones I'm going to keep are the beige ones and the washed black, the slightly not pure black, and then I'm going to return the pure black ones and the 2 grey ones. Hello guys, it is the following morning. It's Tuesday morning now. Just went for a really long walk. Oh my god, the state of my hair, it needs cutting so badly. Just went for a really long walk because the weather was lovely and sunny this morning, and it's meant to go grey and miserable this afternoon. In fact, it's already on that way, and it is 20 to 12. I'm here this morning to talk to you about books. If this would focus, that would really help me out. I've only got a pile of 4 here because I've given 2 of the ones away that I have read. But there's a mix of, actually there's only one non-fiction in this, but yes, this I'm making painfully slow progress with. It's just not one that you can sit down and get through pages and pages. So I'm still only like 150 pages in. I'm going to keep chipping away at it. I've also got a big pile here of what I've got to read coming up, and I think at some point I'm going to prioritise some other non-fiction ones that are more UK focused in terms of black history and the history of the UK and just the experiences of black people within the UK. Like I said, I'm slowly chipping away at this, but it is not an easy, it's just not one you can get through reams and reams of very quickly. So I think this will be on my to read section for quite some time. But the ones that I completed, I'll do it in order. I'm pretty sure the last book I talked about was Kite Runner, so I'm going from there. I think I've talked about that one already. So after that, I then read Freya by Anthony Quinn. I've had this on my bookshelf since I lived in Manchester, which is why it now has lost its sleeve somewhere along the way. This is a novel about a young woman called Freya living mostly in London. Well, actually, nearly all the books set now in Oxford or London. In the post-war years. You kind of start the story on VE Day, and then it goes through into the 60s. So yeah, Freya, I really did enjoy this book. It's a really lovely read. Freya as a character, she's kind of very, I've felt like I got a lot from her, and I got what I connected with her quite well, and there was she was quite flawed in lots of places, and they were sort of tackling topics that at the time would have been quite progressive, like gay rights is quite a big theme throughout the book, and the way her character navigates it, she's obviously written as quite a progressive character for the time, so imagine this is obviously set post Second World War, and it has lots of things about romance and heartbreak and friendships, and just lots of I just really enjoyed all of the themes that ran through it basically, and found it like a really enjoyable book to read, mostly because the character Freya just really connected with who she was. I just want to say, when I'm doing these book reviews, talking about books is something I want to get better and better at. I find it hard to talk about them beyond saying like I liked them because I liked this character, or I didn't like them because I didn't like this theme. Like, I don't have any really knowledge about how to talk about literature, and it is something that I want to learn more about, so do bear with me while we're going through this. I'm hoping that just by reading more, you learn more how to identify exactly what you do and don't like. But yes, I'm on that learning process, and when I'm talking, I'm realising I should be able to say more about the character of Freya and be more critical perhaps, or think more critically about how she has been portrayed, which I will work on beyond just being able to say I did and didn't enjoy. But for the time being, I did enjoy this book, and I do recommend it. It's just it looks quite big, but it's not a very big read. I got through it quite quickly. And it's very female based, which I really liked, just through the point of view of Freya, and she's quite, do you know, there was just something quite empowering about her as a character and the way she navigated things, and she finds herself in all sorts of strange situations with people she knows, and she's quite well connected in London, and it just, yeah, I really enjoyed it through the character. The next two books are I've read two other fictions, the two which I've both given to Lindsay, both by the same author called Colleen Hoover. The first was a book called Verity, which is a thriller, which is quite erotic in lots of places. I read this in one day. It's pure trash, but so good. Like, you just can't, it's just a really good thriller. You cannot put it down. At the end of every chapter I was like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And the story is about a young woman who is brought into a household where this author, whose name is Verity, has been very severely injured in an accident, and her husband brings this young author into the household to finish Verity's books, to basically ghostwrite them because Verity can no longer do it. And as she's doing this, the young author finds, I keep calling her the young author because I've forgotten her bloody name, I don't have the book to read the blurb, but she finds Verity's, it's almost like a diary basically, which is sort of unravelling what happened to Verity on the run up to the accident that has left her in a paralytic state where she can't walk or talk or anything. And there's just lots of twists and turns along the way. It's pure holiday reading. It's just the best holiday reading. So that, I'll put a picture of it on the screen so you know what you're looking for, and link it, name them all in the description box as well. So that one I really liked. And then I read another one by the author because I was kind of in the headspace of like, I need to read something that's just a bit light and easy and really gives some good escapism. So I got another one by the same author called It Ends With Us that was just nowhere near as good. It was much more of a romance. It was still quite erotic in places, but it wasn't a thriller at all. And that one was about a young woman who meets a man on a rooftop in Boston, and this man has a view of relationships that he's never going to settle down, never going to marry, doesn't believe in all of that, and they slowly embark on a relationship that becomes increasingly serious while you're reading diary entries that the main character, again, forgetting names, this is how much this book has stuck with me, it wasn't brilliant. Yeah, she is also rereading her diary from when she was a teenager, when she met her first love, basically. And the two stories kind of run alongside each other, the past and the present day. It's good, it's a kind of a good holiday read again if you just want something really light and easy, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. I think I only gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. So that was my light reading and my light fiction. I then moved on to a non-fiction. This is Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I struggle with saying that title so much. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This is the first in a series of 7 of her autobiographies, so obviously being the first recounts the early years of her life. We kind of leave the end of this book with her in her early teenage years. So she grew up in the south of America. This is set during the 1930s. She lives with her grandmother, but this story also does recount her meeting her actual mother and her father and spending some time with them. And it's just a really beautiful account of a young black girl in southern America where they live a very segregated life from the white community in the town that she's in. And her grandmother is kind of the, I don't know what the word would be, so sort of within the black community that they have, her grandmother is she owns this shop, and so she's quite a successful woman, and she's the person people come to for things, kind of like, almost like the grandmother of the whole part of the town, it feels like, into that whole community. But it's so interesting reading how the story for Maya, how she becomes more and more aware of her race and what it means to be black. And there are some really beautiful scenes where she recounts where she goes into the white part of town and what that means to her and how that affects her, and how she doesn't want to go because to to her, they're just different, and she doesn't like the white part of town. She doesn't like going there at all. But then as it goes on and as it develops, she realises why she doesn't like going there. It's not just because she feels more comfortable in the black part of town, it's because she has been forced to feel more comfortable through how segregated it's been. It's a very harrowing book in lots of places. There's lots of things about extremely abusive relationships that run throughout. But it was incredible, and her writing is beautiful, and I'm definitely going to read the other 6 in this series as well. When it ends, oh, do I say that? Can I say how it? No, I won't say. Basically, it ends saying that something's happened in her life, which I'm really interested to know how she navigates that bit coming up next. But I won't say what it is. But if you've read the next one, or even go read the blurb of the second one, you would know what that thing is. Really, really good. The second one in the thing is called Gather Together in My Name, which is a title I found much easier to pronounce. I don't know why I can't say. I know why the caged bird sings. Caged bird sings. Really, really recommend it though. It's beautiful. Next up, we have How Long Till Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin. I read Jemison's Broken Earth trilogy over Christmas and really, really, really enjoyed them, so I was really excited to read this. By the title, I kind of thought it was going to be a non-fiction that really answered that question. It's not. It is a series of short fiction stories. The introduction is really important to read, which is written by Jemisin, where she's saying that the motivation behind writing this book was that when she was learning to write and trying to become a better writer, some advice she was given was to write short stories, and that was a great way to just improve your writing, basically. And in the process of learning, she realised that she had never really had a black character central to any of her stories that she'd written so far, any of her novels. She's a black writer, just in case that's not clear. And so she started questioning that about herself, and then in these short stories she has a black character or an issue of race within the stories. That's the thread going through them all, which is kind of where the question is posed, how long till Black Future Month, and also kind of accounting for her journey of wondering why, even as a black woman, has that not been something I've explored. And obviously she talks about the reasons why in the introduction as well, but I don't want to say too much. It's really, really, really enjoyable. A lot of it is very futuristic, kind of like a dystopian future a lot of the time. There's maybe a couple of ones that are a bit more utopian, but for the most part, it sort of reminds me of Black Mirror in places in terms of the themes, similar in that it is, you know, if you've seen Black Mirror, the TV series, this will make sense. You watch stuff and you think, oh, we're only a few steps away from that reality. There only needs to be a few things that change and will be there, that I can imagine myself being in that world. This was very much like that in places, which I really, really, really enjoyed. And obviously she's most known for her fantasy writing, which for me, the Broken Earth trilogy is the only fantasy books I've ever read, and it just completely drops you in that world so effectively and just so brilliantly. I enjoyed it so much, and these, even though they're being our short stories, really managed to do the same. There were so many that I wished could be a full novel and wanted to get into the world more, because she like just puts you in at the deep end where all of this crazy stuff's happening, of like people holograms, people coming from different planets, people turn into animals, all sorts of things. And it's just so well done, so brilliant. And I think, like I said, the introduction, knowing her motivation behind this of wanting to explore how black characters can become more centred in her writing and in these short stories, is just a really, really good book. I gave this one 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Right. Next up, this is the last one I have to talk about, is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I put this on my Instagram stories and so many of you guys replied about this book, just saying how heartbroken it is. I'll just read the back because that was going to do a better job for me. This is her debut novel. It immerses us in the tragic, torn lives of a poor black family, Pauline, Collie, Sam and Pecola in post-depression 1940s Ohio. Unlovely and unloved, Pecola prays each night for blue eyes like those of her privileged white schoolfellows. At once intimate and expansive, unsparing in its truth-telling, The Bluest Eye shows how the past savagely defines the present. It is an absolutely heart-wrenching book. I really enjoyed having read this just a matter of weeks before, which is a true account of, obviously, a biographical account, autobiographical account even. And then this, the similarities of just the thought process, I mean, there's only a decade apart between, well, not only, it's a long time, but a decade apart between when they're both set, but the similarities of what the character Pecola and what Maya Angelou think about themselves, and their kind of how they learn about themselves, was so striking. And Morrison, just the way this was written was so beautiful and just honestly heartbreaking. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like I'm doing such a dreadful job of talking about this, but you uncover how hideous Pecola's childhood has been through her parents, who have a very violent relationship, and how then that progresses, and within that every night she just goes to sleep wishing she would wake up with blue eyes. And what will that change in her life? Will she be more beautiful? Throughout the story it's described how ugly she is, how like unattractive her features are in her face, and this constant praying for change of her physical appearance, of how it will improve her life, and how she views lives of white people and what that will mean, and how that will also, it like will whisk her away from all of the problems that she has at home. I feel like I'm doing a dreadful job of explaining this book, basically, other than to say, to read it, it's honestly just heartbreaking the way it describes this young girl's want for change, and how changing herself, and it's not necessarily changing the world she's wanting, it's just, you know, it's quite childlike in thinking, well, you know, as a child you don't ever, I don't think, ever really believe that you have any power to change the world on a greater level. You just kind of want to change yourself to adapt to what your parents are doing, what your peers are doing, whatever. But how she wishes to adapt herself to make all of her pain go away, and how that relates to the wider narrative of racism within, well, this is specifically again within America. It's a beautifully written, very sad book, and I wholly recommend it. And I'm doing such a dreadful job talking about it, but it's one of those that's going to stay with me forever, I think, and a book that I will always continue to think of, and I'm desperate to read more of her books as well. But I haven't ordered any more because I have a massive pile of things to read. I'm currently reading fiction at the moment. I'm reading Misery by Stephen King, which I never read before, because I have quite a pile of non-fiction to read. The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. So You Want to Talk About Race, White Fragility, why it's so hard to talk to white people about racism, and this is going to be my next non-fiction read. Actually, I should have shown this one first, but Natives by Akala. I'm gonna, like I said, the American history one I'm reading, I'm just gonna keep ticking over but not prioritise as much, and I'm gonna give this one a go. I might actually start it today, and I also have some more fiction to go through. One is American Dirt here, another one by Kala Giussini, because I really loved Kite Runner, so I have 1,000 Splendid Suns, and then True Grit. I've never even seen the film of this, so I'm now surrounded by books in all kinds of piles. So that is what will be coming up in the next book conversation, but I hope you've enjoyed this. As always, please leave your reading recommendations in the description box. I'll leave a link to my Goodreads there as well. And now I've talked so much, I'm going to go make myself a coffee. Random recommendation here that no one asked for. This candle, just lit a different one, was sent to me, and it's so nice. I've actually just reordered it and bought it myself because it was so lovely. It's called the Meditative one. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's quite, it's very masculine. It's quite smoky. It's quite like a, kind of reminds me of old libraries kind of a smell. But I've literally just reordered the exact same one, and it's all 100% natural and a really nice brand. So this was a PR product, but I've since ordered it, and obviously this is finished, so I'm just about to put this to be recycled. I wanted to recommend it. I'm making myself a cup of tea in my Buffy mug. My friend Sarah is on her way. I'm going to sit in the garden, have a cup of tea, and a mother's meeting. I've since changed my jumper that I had on earlier because I realised I was wearing a jumper from a brand that I'm trying to not wear, and I had to put it on without thinking about it for that book segment, so please do forgive me. I now have a different branded jumper on. Oh, I've not let that brew at all. Mum sent me in the post, bless her, a little brunch the Sunday away cookbook. I still want to use some from my Italian one, but I might, maybe, I'm going to go to Lindsay's this weekend, so maybe I'll surprise Linz and take the ingredients to make a really good brunch for me, her and James or something. In fact, I'm definitely going to do that. Or we can pick one later and then see how that cooking experience goes. The weather's gone, it's not gone shit here, it's just gone like in-betweeny weather. It doesn't feel like summer anymore, hence the knitwear. I'm wearing those new Weekday jeans today that I showed you. They're quite tight and pinchy on the crotch when you sit down. So I think they'll need a couple of wears to be a bit more comfortable. I feel quite like bunched up around my bikini line basically, which isn't ideal, but perfect length. And I do, as much as I wish the weather was lovely again, I do love knitwear and sandal weather. Hello guys, it's Wednesday afternoon. This is going to be the last bit of the vlog. Guess who's getting their haircut tomorrow? Yours truly. I normally go to Josh Wood in Holland Park, but I don't want to get the tube and it would be like an hour in a taxi, so I'm going to go to a place called Glass House in Shoreditch instead. It's on like near Broadway Market in Mare Street. So I'm going to do that instead, but I can't wait. It's impossible to get dressed at the moment because I've just been out and I'm really sweaty and it's meant to rain, but it's not raining and it's just muggy. I've had this t-shirt on, class. And loads of you guys asked questions about it in the last vlog. It's from LNA. It was sent to me. They are an American like basics brand. I will link it in the description box. But yeah, this was gifted, but I still have to pay the customs, but it was hardly anything. So you kind of find a order off there and not worry about that. I'm nearly finished this. It's giving me the wildest dreams. I haven't seen the film and I'm gonna watch the film this weekend. But the dreams I'm having off the back of reading this are mental. But yeah, whew. I just returned all those jeans to Weekday, which was really easy. Oh, I forgot to check if they had the white ones. I just returned them all. Oh, I knew I'd forget something. I'm such an idiot. Damn it. Okay, well, it's not far. I'll go back tomorrow or next week and look at the white ones and get the white ones and start that testing basics. The next video is going to be testing basics of underwear, which I'm going to have to do a bit differently. I don't think it's going to have the segment during the week where I'm like talking about wearing it because it's underwear. I'm not sure how to do it. But I've been wearing everything loads, but I haven't filmed any of it yet. So I'm just sort of like forming my opinions. But yes, that's coming next. I've been wearing the other Weekday jeans today, the dark ones again, and they're getting comfier. They're only the second wear and they're getting comfier. So that's all good. And for now, I'm going to take my sweaty face away from you all and boom, stress of an email noise, and oh, lo and behold, it's a newsletter. I am going to reply to some emails, edit this vlog, upload this vlog, and then this evening going out to a local wine bar called Sager and Wild, which is so nice. Going with my friend Sarah, and we've booked our slot because you have to book your slot online. And I'm excited, a bit nervous to know what it'll be like, but it's there's two Sager and Wilds and we're gonna go to the small one, which I hope means they can't fill it up really, so it should just be really quiet and therefore easy to keep your distance. But I'm excited, but it's gonna be weird to go to something like that. But I liked the fact you have to like, book a slot and everything. That made me feel quite good about it. So that's tonight's plan. And yeah, I'll be back with a vlog in a couple of weeks after we've done testing basics next week. That's kind of everything I've got to say, I think. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next one.